This is Land of Havilah, Joshua 12. This chapter is an accounting of the kings and geographical areas that Moses conquered east of the Jordan and Joshua conquered west of the Jordan. First up, the land Moses conquered. We'll read through it and then explain. Verse 1. Now these are the kings of the land whom the children of Israel struck and possessed their land beyond the Jordan toward the sunrise, from the valley of the Arnon to Mount Hermon and all the Arabah eastward. Sihon, king of the Amorites, who lived in Heshbon and ruled from Aroer, which is on the edge of the valley of the Arnon, and the middle of the valley, and half Gilead, even to the river Jabbok, the border of the children of Ammon, and the Arabah to the sea of Chinnereth eastward, to the sea of the Arabah, even the Salt Sea eastward, the way to Beth Jeshemoth, and on the south, under the slopes of Pisgah, and the border of Og, king of Bashan, of the remnant of the Rephaim, who lived at Ashtaroth and at Edrei, and ruled in Mount Hermon and in Selekah and in all Bashan, to the border of the Geshurites and the Maacathites, and half Gilead, the border of Sihon, king of Heshbon. Moses, the servant of Yahweh, and the children of Israel struck them. Moses, the servant of Yahweh, gave it for a possession to the Reubenites and to the Gadites and the half-tribe of Manasseh. Comment. Let's go to the map. Moses conquered the Amorite king Sihon in this area and Og in this area, both of them east of the Jordan. This was recorded in the book of Numbers. King Sihon land ran from the Jabbok River on the north to the Arnon River on the south, to Ammonite land on the east, and the Jordan River on the west. The eastern border with Ammon was well defined at the time, Numbers 21-24, but today we don't know where that was, and there were also Ammonites along the Jabbok River, Deuteronomy 2:37. Sihon also controlled a narrow strip along the eastern side of the Jordan River all the way to the Sea of Chinnereth. So his land was shaped something like a lowercase b. Sihon's cities included Heshbon, which was his capital, and Aroer on the edge of the Arnon River Gorge. The other king east of the Jordan was King Og of Bashan, Numbers 21:33, basically in this area north of Sihon. He was an Amorite like Sihon. His northern border was Mount Hermon. His southern border was the Jabbok River, minus whatever land the Ammonites controlled along its banks, Deuteronomy 3:16. The Geshurites and Maacathites are obscure. They were either on his east or west. Can't tell, but on the west his kingdom might have come all the way up to the Jordan River Valley and the Sea of Chinnereth, and on the east it might have extended all the way to the desert wasteland. Moses gave Sihon's and Og's land, all this land, to Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. These rocky mountains here are called Gilead, which means rocky. Now going on, the land Joshua conquered west of the Jordan. Verse 7. These are the kings of the land whom Joshua and the children of Israel struck beyond the Jordan westward, from Baal Gad in the valley of Lebanon, even to Mount Halak that goes up to Seir. Joshua gave it to the tribes of Israel for a possession according to their divisions. Comment. The land west of the Jordan runs from Baal Gad in the north, which is in the valley of Lebanon. This is the valley of Lebanon. So Baal Gad would have been somewhere in the valley, perhaps about here. On the south it ran to Mount Halak, which is obscure but somewhere in the desert south on the border with the Edomites. Going on now, continuing to describe the conquered land west of the Jordan, verse 8. In the hill country and in the lowland and in the Arabah and in the slopes and in the wilderness and in the south, the Hittite, the Amorite, and the Canaanite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite. Comment, this is the hill country. This is the lowland Hebrew Shephelah, which actually means foothills, not lowlands. The Shephelah slopes down to the coastal plain. This is the Arabah, which is the valley of the Jordan and the Dead Sea. Of course, there are slopes that rise from the Arabah to the hill country. Now coming up, the text will give the list of the 31 kings that Joshua conquered west of the Jordan. Some of the locations are unknown. Of the known ones, we'll show the map as we go. Verse 9. The king of Jericho won, the king of Ai, which is beside Bethel, won, the king of Jerusalem won, the king of Hebron won, the king of Jarmuth won, the king of Lachish won, the king of Eglon won, the king of Gezer won, the king of Debir won, the king of Geder won, The king of Hormah won. The king of Arad won. The king of Libnah won. The king of Adullam won. The king of Makkedah won. The king of Bethel won. The king of Tappuah won. The king of Hepher won. The king of Aphek won. The king of Lasharon won. The king of Madon won. The king of Hazor won. The king of Shimron Meron won. The king of Akshaph won. The king of Taanach won. The king of Megiddo won. The king of Kadesh won. The king of Jokneam in Carmel won. The king of Dor in the height of Dor won. The king of Goim in Gilgal won. The king of Tirzah won. All the kings 31. Comment: if Moses and Joshua conquered all that with Yahweh's help, you and I can conquer anything we're up against. Romans 8:37, quote, "In all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us," end quote. Joshua 13 is next at Land of Havilah.net. Joshua 13.